Hello everyone, welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. It is Ethereal Mother, and today we're going to be getting into how to embrace change during these times of chaos. I feel like ever since 2025 started, it has been insane, and it's been really hard to kind of digest and cope with at times. So let's just go ahead and get straight into the cards. If you hear my cat in the background, he is currently trying to summon something. I don't know what. So please don't mind him. So the first card we have is the Wheel of Fortune. Excuse me, which is ruled by the planet Jupiter, which it's a very beautiful energy, but everything operates on a spectrum. So over here you can have an abundance of greed, but you could also have an abundance of prosperity. So it just kind of depends on what you're attracting, and you have to be very mindful of that. And right now Jupiter is currently in Gemini, so this is the time where, so Gemini, like I said, Jupiter is in Gemini, and Gemini is all about our daily activities. So what can you do on a daily basis to improve everything as a whole? And it's interesting because Gemini and Jupiter are kind of like on opposite ends of the spectrum, because you have Gemini, which is the student, and Jupiter, which is the teacher, right? And to become a teacher or a guru or anything like that, it takes time, and it takes consistent small effort. There's a lot of things right now that you could be doing on a daily basis that could be considered insignificant, but they're not. Everything has a very layered layers of meaning, layers of how it affects you, especially on a psychological level. But the thing is, it is your responsibility to look into what's going on. How is this affecting me? How is this going to affect me in the future? And that's kind of also the vibe as well. And also with this kind of looking like a clock in the middle, and you also have the fixed signs around the edge of this card. We have Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. So again, something that you can do on a regular basis that is going to stick and be consistent in your routine, that is going to improve upon your daily life. And again, back to this being a clock in the middle, is we're kind of what I'm hearing is that the timeline is split. So we have on this end of the spectrum, we have those who are very almost obsessed with greed, especially with capitalism, patriarchy, white patriarchy specifically. And then on the other end, we have everyone who is not in that tax bracket and who has to kind of fend for themselves and not be so dependent on the government, because they have shown for generations now that if you are not in their same tax bracket, if you are not in the same spaces that they are, they will just cut you off and won't give a fuck because you're not in their tax bracket. So that's kind of where everything is, and that's what I really think myself and the angels want people to really be aware of, is don't go against your own interest. It is your time to focus on what is best for you and what could be also beneficial for everyone around you, and it does not have to be that big. So we have some other clarifying cards. We have the Five of Pentacles, which is represented by the Moon in Taurus. Again, we have another fixed type of energy. And then we have the Nine of Wands, which is, I think it's the Moon in Sagittarius actually, which is very interesting, which is a mutable energy, which is constantly changing. If you ever met a Sagittarius, they're constantly doing something. So, I can relate. I have a Sagittarius sun. So with the Five of Pentacles, this is representing people who are out in the cold. They could go into this particular church for shelter, but it does feel as if they are trying to move to something a little bit better, especially when you think about how the next card after this one is the Six of Pentacles, which represents like financial balance basically. So right now, and also it also kind of feels as if a lot of people could be experiencing different types of heavy mental health issues. It could be depression, anxiety, which makes sense, especially if you look at the news. And to be honest with like what I said, again, with bringing back this card and how Jupiter is currently in Gemini, what can I do on a daily basis to improve my current situation? Sometimes it is taking a break from social media. Sometimes it is, and maybe not like, maybe it's something that you have to kind of ease yourself off of, like you can't really go cold turkey. And this is also with this card, it's also giving the energy of like, again, it's your responsibility to pay attention to what you're placing value in, which is very, like I said, this card is Moon and Taurus. And also you're paying attention to your resources. So time is a resource. And like I said, it could be taking a break from social media, but it could be something that's very incremental. So it's like, okay, instead of me spending all day in bed on TikTok, how about maybe I limit it to maybe a couple hours, and then, you know, different things like that. And then again, like I said, Jupiter is in Gemini, and Gemini kind of gives like little hobbies. You know, what are some little hobbies that I can do? What are some things that I can do in my free time? Now that I have all this free time, because I'm not on TikTok, what can I do? So bringing it back to the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands. It's someone who, like, after a battle, after like a time of significant struggle, they just kind of create these barriers around themselves in order for protection, basically. And I think that's actually a really good thing to do at this time. Whatever you need to do to protect your energy, that's what you really need to focus on at this time. And again, like I said, with Jupiter, this energy being Jupiter is something that whatever you're giving off, whatever you're investing your time and resources into, like I said, this is the Moon in Taurus, with the Five of Pentacles. So whatever you're investing your time in, whatever you're investing your energy in, that is what you're going to be receiving in return. So that's something that you kind of have to, and again, it's your responsibility. Like I said with, I keep bringing this up, but Jupiter is in Gemini at this time. So again, what can I do on a small scale that will grow exponentially? So maybe getting into gardening, maybe getting into different things that will improve your mental health. And it does not have to be anything serious. And I will absolutely include some people that I listen to on YouTube that has helped me improve. And sometimes it's music, sometimes it's just taking a break, sometimes it's just resting. Also with the Nine of Wands, it has this energy of preparing for something. I don't know what that necessarily means, but there's something that needs to be prepared for. And again, I guess maybe like, say for instance, if there is another traumatic experience that we witness through social media, how are you going to navigate that situation the next time it comes around? I think that's what this is kind of getting into. So for example, I have been learning how to do things in Blender, which has been very complex. It is a very complex program, but it has been a lot of fun. I also have been crocheting for years. I have been doing more reading. I actually found a lot of places where I can get thrifted books in very good condition, so reading new stuff. And I also consider myself an entrepreneur. So it's like, what can I learn from all of these other people who have been able to experience success, so that whatever I'm doing is going to be successful. And that's, again, bringing abundance to whatever I'm working on, and something that I'm consistently working on a regular basis. And then also even self-care. Listen, I went to TJ Maxx the other day. You can go get you some sheet masks. You can go get you some body scrubs. You can get you a whole bunch of stuff. Really taking care of you and putting more value in things that just makes sense right now. Like, again, pouring your energy into something that you can't fully control at this time is just, that's not the best use of your energy. So let's see what other cards we got from the Prism Oracle deck. Ooh, comfort. Ooh. One more. Oh wow. All right. So we have comfort, hopefully you can see that, and then growth, and then I'm still getting over cold, so please excuse me. I'm doing my best out here. And then caution. Oh wow, hopefully you can see that clearly. Caution, yeah. This with caution, and it's like bright yellow too. With caution, it's giving the vibe of like there's certain things that you were doing on the thing is, you know what they are. I feel like I can list things all day long, you know, and I think the biggest thing could potentially be social media, because I think that's the easiest thing that everyone has access to at this time. But also, quick side note, be mindful of what your children has access to on social media. Even on occasion, my nieces will have their little tablets or whatever for maybe like a couple hours a day. But the way that I have curated their stuff on their iPads or tablets or whatever, listen, I think that could also be beneficial as well, curating what you see on your timeline. But even then, there's still negative things that could seep through. But with caution coming out, it's like once something that is harming you is removed, it kind of feels like that's how you'll notice how it's affecting you. And I think that you do know what these things are. And it could be a relationship, it could be the way that you interact with others, it could be certain people in your life, whatever you were doing to try to find comfort, whatever you were, like a vice or something like that, whatever you were doing to try to protect yourself, to create comfort in order to kind of cope with whatever's going on, that's what it is. And again, maybe I do need to do a video of like how to recognize red flags. What do you do in this type of situation? So I guess we'll just get into that next week or something like that. But and growth. And again, I think that right now, and again, like I said, you could this also feels like a polarity of energies as well, because you have this side that can represent stagnancy, especially like on a financial level, physically, emotionally, whatever. But on this side, it's like, you know what, I've been through a lot and I need to do what's necessary so that I can grow and evolve, and so that I can maintain this like equilibrium to make sure that I am protecting myself from things that are creating harm for me. Yeah, so I think that's a great place to start. So let's get into some things that could be self-care. Like I said earlier, it could be, you know, going to TJ Maxx, getting you some sheet masks, because I definitely partooketh in grabbing a few things. I think it was like Sunday, I think, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to come back. Oh, okay. Oh, too many cards. I think that's it. Let's just do these two. Hydrate, okay. Hydrate. What's going on? And then we have read. Didn't I say that? I've been reading more. You can also do like PDF books if you're not, or get a Kindle, which I actually think I'm going to invest in a Kindle. I know that hydrate is definitely like, you know, definitely drink your water, but if you have a hard time drinking water, add a little razzle dazzle to it. You know, you can add some lemon juice, you can add some orange slices, some cucumber. It doesn't have to be the same thing. And again, like I said, with Jupiter and Gemini, there's a lot of little things that you can do to make, you know, your day a little bit better. And that could be one of them. And reading, like I said, with reading, like I said earlier, you know, of course there's like for me personally, there's like books that I read on like psychology and neurology, but then also I kind of like to have a little fun, you know, like let's get into some sci-fi fantasy type bullshit, you know, just to kind of play around, get into some romance novels, like what, you know, whatever you can find. And so the last card that we're going to be pulling is getting a message from Kali Ma, which she is one of my favorite goddesses to work with, because she represents like utilizing the energy of chaos in order to destroy something so that growth can happen. And it's going to be something that could be very uncomfortable, but you also might find comfort in it. And yet, I think it's just give it a try, because you never know. All right, Kali Ma, what you want to say to the peoples? Kali Ma, Mother Kali Ma, what you want to say? What you want to say to the peoples? One card, please. A Kundalini Shakti. Let's get into that artwork. Okay, so we're gonna read this one out the book. Okay, so here is their arising consciousness that invokes instability within, clearing the inner pathways for higher consciousness to manifest. Inner disturbances and instability wrought by Kundalini Shakti is an obscuring grace. Internal disorder is a necessary step towards divine reorganization. Reassure your heart that no matter what may appear to be, at a spiritual level, all is well. Outworn energy is being processed and broken apart. From the ashes of your inner fire, you shall emerge anew. Let what needs to happen, happen. So, like I said earlier, here's that if you want to screenshot it. Hopefully that's clear. But what this card is saying, for me at least, is that there are a lot of things that are happening to us internally, not just externally. And like I said before, if there is another traumatic experience that happens, how am I going to navigate this instead? So again, like reading came out, so it's like, you know what? This is enough internet for me today. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to find something that is going to nourish me rather than to drain me. And I think that's very, very important. And again, with caution, the way that there's different things in the media that has been pushed very heavily, it just feels like it can cause more harm than good, basically. And again, like I said earlier, I think I said this, Pluto is in Aquarius, so not only are we experiencing what's happening in the world, but there's a lot of things that are happening internally with everyone as a whole. And a lot of the things that we're experiencing collectively is very similar, especially if you are experiencing anxiety and depression and just an innate sadness that even though you want it to, doom scrolling is never going to cure or help or bring you comfort. It's never going to bring you comfort. And so now, again, like I said, even like I said earlier, with the clock in the middle of this Wheel of Fortune, let me read this. With the clock in the middle of this Wheel of Fortune, it's like you have two paths to choose. You can either protect yourself from things that will cause maybe even further health issues down the line that will expand into something much more challenging, or you can sit in this energy of anxiety and depression and all these other heavy emotions that are really challenging to maneuver through. And so I think that's kind of where we're at. So you have two paths to choose in order to evolve and grow. But I believe that is all that I have for us today. And I'm sending you so much love and protection. And also I want to give you grace. I want you to give yourself grace. And even though it might seem very challenging, we're all trying to do our best out here. There's been a lot of very quick changes that has happened over the past month, I would say. And I don't think that that's going to let up at all. So I just want you to know that I love you, and that you are loved, and that you are protected, and that it is imperative that right now you do little things each and every day, including reading, hydrating, picking up a new hobby, doing things that are going to benefit your health, in order to survive and thrive in this new timeline that has been, this new timeline and era that we are currently in. And because I don't want you to be left behind, like in this Five of Pentacles. I want you to be able to have a safe space to go to. And as much as we wanted to, social media and being heavily involved, hyper focused on what's happening within the media, it's just not, that's just not where we should be at this time. And I'm speaking to myself because I need to take breaks too, because I'm always like doing research and then I get caught up on Twitter or something like that. It happens. It is what it is. But I love you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day and see you next time.